Hi there, I'm Vivian. I'm from ANU Academic Skills, and in this video I'm going to be talking with you about structuring your business report. After you've spent a bit of time analysing the task and identifying what your key message is going to be, it's then time to start planning the structure of your report. Now, when you're planning the structure of your report, you might not be given a set structure from your lecturer. Your lecturer might say that it's up to you to choose. So there might not be a set piece of guidance as to how to organise the body of your report. So then you'll need to start figuring out, how does the structure that you choose support your own key message? Because the structure should really back up and really support your key message. So there needs to be a logical sequence of ideas, and there needs to be a clear key message running through the whole report. So right from the start of the introduction through to the body and through to the conclusion. So it needs to be a line of narrative that really strongly presents your key solutions and your key recommendations and the key ideas in your analysis in a logical way to persuade the reader that your key message is valid. So a basic report structure might look like this, where you have a title page, a table of contents, an executive summary if your lecturer asks for one, an introduction, a discussion, a conclusion, recommendations, and then references and appendices where extra information is contained. Out of all of this, the trickiest part to organise will be the discussion section, because that is really where your analysis is done. And that's where you might need to break it up depending on the different ideas, the different types of analysis that you do. So this is where you need to put in a bit of thought as to which structure will suit your key message the best. So let's take an example. And in here, the key message is that the investor should invest in Navitas because of reasons A, B, and C. So we're going to look at 3 different structures and talk about the pros and cons in each of these structures. So first of all, structure number 1. Say, for instance, that they do ratio analysis, industry statistics analysis, stock exchange, and media information analysis in 4 separate sections. And in each of those sections, they might identify 1 or 2 of the 3 reasons that their whole report is using. So this can work quite nicely because it can break up the different type of analysis. If the analysis is really distinct, like ratio analysis is very, very different to media information, for example, that can work very, very nice and clearly in your report. So that might be something to use if your analysis is very different. If the methods that you're using are very different for the different types of evidence that you're looking at, for example. And as long as those reasons are very clearly explained in your report, that can work quite nicely. Now, the disadvantage of this particular structure would be that what happens, for instance, if your ratio analysis and your industry statistics talk about the same reason. So here, for instance, they're talking about reason A. It might get a bit repetitive. And if you're running out of space in your report, you might actually think about combining the ratio analysis and industry statistics and talk about how they both give you reason A for investing in Navitas. Then you might talk about the stock exchange and media information and how they raise reason B, and then a separate section for media information and how it raises reason C. So that would be something to think about if your report is getting too long and too repetitive with this structure. But again, it has many advantages, this structure, if your report analysis is very separate. So let's take a second example. So structure number 2. And in this one, what they've done is had a section on each of the different types of analysis, and then they have a section on reasons A, B, and C. So this could work, for instance, in cases where ratio analysis in industry statistics and stock exchange comes up with all of the 3 reasons, for example. It could be that each of the 4 parts of analysis comes up with those same reasons, and it could have gotten very repetitive if you keep on mentioning those same reasons all along the way. But a disadvantage of this could be that your reader gets confused. So your reader could be confused when they're reading the analysis sections, the ratio analysis, the industry statistics, and so on, because they might not understand how those lead you to the reasons A, B, and C. Also, if the section on reasons A, B, and C is talking about all 3 of those reasons altogether, that could get a little bit confusing. So think very carefully about whether you would choose something like this. Now, a third structure is actually broken up by the reasons. So there might be a section A, which is about reason A, and that could include the similar types of analysis or the analysis that points to the same reason. So it could be that the ratio analysis and the industry statistics both talk about reason A. Then reason B is relevant to both the stock exchange and the media information, and reason C is just the media information. So that could work if you want to really foreground the reasons for your key message, and it could work if you can very easily combine the different types of analysis. Again, a disadvantage of this type of structure could be that the different analysis gets a little bit too combined, and it might be a bit difficult for your reader to see the differences between the different types of analysis of ratio analysis and industry statistics, for example. So use your judgment about what you think is best, and keep thinking about how you might foreground your reasons for your reader and what would be your personal preference. If you're working as a group on a report, then very early on, after you've worked out your key message together, you might need to start planning how you're going to organize the report based on the key message and the reasons for your key message. So really, the structure should support your key message. Or in other words, think about your key message first and then base your structure on that key message to make it really nice and clear. So there are a few options available to you. When you're writing the paper, really focus on setting up that key message in the introduction, because your reader will want to know your answer to the question or your key message and your key recommendations very early on. Think of it as if you were actually writing a report for a client, what would they need to know? Very early on, they want to know whether they should invest in this company or not. So put that key message in your introduction and make sure that your key message is very clearly developed all through the paper in each of the sections. Support your ideas with good evidence and make sure that your conclusion summarizes your findings, and make sure that your paragraphs very, very clearly lead to that conclusion. So one of the things when you're structuring your report is that you could actually organize your plan around your topic sentences. So a topic sentence is the very first sentence of a paragraph, and it should ideally emphasize how that paragraph supports your key message. So let's take an example. Here's another report where we have the introduction saying that the long-term profitability should improve if they follow these recommendations. So in the section about profitability, this student has focused on the reasons why the net profit is low, and then the reasons that they're giving for these particular recommendations. So increasing employee performance will help to improve the net profit. Targeted marketing will also help to improve performance, which will help to improve net profit. And higher profits can be expected with growth in IT recruitment. So these topic sentences are the very first sentence of each paragraph, and they would then keep working on that report to expand on those paragraphs. But this is a really good outline to help you see how your key message can be very clearly presented to your reader in the very first sentence of each paragraph. So use your topic sentences to help you plan what your key message is going to be in your whole report. After you've done that, then it's time to start writing up the different elements of the report. And in the next video, we're going to be talking about executive summaries and introductions.